So it's filter-free Friday. I mean, it's Wednesday, but we don't have any filters on.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Just
go.
let everybody know.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. My name's Kim Sunshine, and we're here on the Kim Sunshine Show with Keith Evans.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a rock star in town, super famous. Everybody knows him. If you do not know Keith Evans, you should get to know him. Keith is doing a lot of wonderful things in town. He is a local mortgage broker, so he can help you get financing on. And you deal mostly with commercial, or do you do residential investment?
We do residential, commercial, and anything. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, I have a partner by the name of Clay Gibson that used to buy and sell banks all around the U.S.
Buying and selling banks. Okay, that's a whole different industry. I haven't looked into at all.
Yeah, he used to.
I bought the bank. Oh, so he can actually say that.
Well, they said the quickest way to rob a bank is to own it.
Is to own it.
But anyway, we have access to different types of funding. That's correct.
Okay.
There's nothing that we say no to.
Oh, cool.
You can buy a Caterpillar tractor and we can do it.
Hey, so Keith Evans is your guy if you need that. So awesome. And you're with Equity Prime?
Yes. EPM Mortgage, it's called.
EPM Mortgage.
And it stands for Equity Prime Mortgage.
Yep. And if you take a look, I did tag his business partner because he is often off doing things and flying around and helping people with the angel flight. So if you do need Keith's services, you can look on, there's a previous live, and I will add it to this live later on.
Right.
But for Brandon Bivens,
Yeah.
it is helping you. So he's handling all the clients coming in, and then Keith is there to help with all the expertise.
Yes, no problem. I handle the clients too. I can't stop doing that. I've been doing it for almost 30 years.
Well, your love for people. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm hearing you say, and if you guys can watch the previous video that we did, and it was all about angel flight, and it was absolutely amazing, all the information that we were hearing. But wow, there are so many good people in the world. So if you ever had a question about the goodness of people's hearts and their souls, just listen to that previous video that we made, or the previous interview, the part one. This is part two.
Yeah, and every time we close a loan, we fly another patient. We also do, this is important because this is big right now, is transplant patients. We have Homeland Security clearance to get into different areas.
Oh, wow.
When there's an emergency, that's another thing that we do. Here's a good story. There was a baby that needed a formula, and it was out in Texas, and we couldn't land a plane close enough to him, so we landed the airplane, and the military met us and got that formula and lowered it down over the home so that baby can live. Now, the story didn't end there. There was another baby needing the same formula.
So it was a special kind of formula, I'm assuming. Okay.
Right, for the baby. And so the military met us, and they actually grabbed that also, and they dropped it down over and lowered it over that child's home so that child could stay alive.
How
too.
amazing is that? That's so beautiful. That's wonderful.
I was leaving work one day over at EQ, and I received a phone call. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the lady said to me, she goes, if my son does not get his operation tonight, he will die.
That's like, whew, drop
I
everything.
said, how long will it take you to get to the airport? She says, 30 minutes. I said, do you have a nurse? She said, yes, I do. I said, I'm not an air ambulance, but I can get you there. So this was coordinated with air traffic control and everything because he had a tumor in his brain. And if I went up too high, it would kill him.
Well, the pressure. You had to be careful of the pressure. Wow.
So I called the FAA and told them I had a gentle patient. Usually, they have to be a very fragile patient. And I have to be very careful. And they gave me permission to land in Miami at 3,000 feet. And they watched me because the weather wasn't the best in the world. And they led me around every tower, every building, and everything, and got me all the way to Miami. I landed. Ambulances met us, took the baby, and the baby's still alive today.
Wow. 3,000 feet is not that high when you're talking about airplane terms.
Well, think about if you lose a motor at 3,000 feet. You don't have a lot of time to recover.
Well, I was thinking about pulling my chute because that's the only example I have is when I went skydiving.
Right.
And I think we did that at like 7,000 feet so that you would have some time. But and then I guess low people do it at even, I guess there are people who pull low when they're in a military situation. But that is really low. Like you are so low, and you flew the whole way from here to Miami at 3,000 feet.
Yeah, most of the time over the ocean because I couldn't fly the cities.
Sure,
it's just not high enough,
Sure.
I had there's some sad situations that I've been through also, where I've picked people up that I knew weren't going to make it. Okay, from a trial program. I had one gentleman had stomach cancer. He hadn't seen his family in 2 months. I pick him up at Orlando International Airport, and he lived in New Jersey. Well, the second pilot was supposed to take him from Carolina, drop him off in Virginia, and then the next one take him home. Well, he was sick, the second pilot. And I was flying.
No.
My mom was my co-pilot.
Okay.
I said, Mom, I said, we're just going to have to spend time in this airplane today and get this guy home. So we ended up spending time, and we flew him all the way home that day.
Oh, wow.
Because we knew that he wasn't going to make it, and he didn't.
And it was so that his family could spend time with him with his last times.
Correct. Now, he was ambulatory. He could get in and out of the plane, but you could just look at him and just talking to him, you knew.
And just know.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're there for a lot of things where if there's a hurricane, we bring the supplies in. There's not much that we don't do to help, and it never costs anybody anything except for the pilot.
It's so beautiful what you guys are doing, and so amazing. And you know, it's interesting that the services that you do, some people don't like to hear these things, or they don't want to talk about them because it's a negative part of our existence. But there are some realities of our lives. There are people who have troubles, have sickness, and who have ailments. There are also there's also a time that we're all going to pass and die, and to face that with reality and with eyes open, and then say, where can I assist, or where can I be of a help in this situation? It just takes a special person to do that. And I for one, want to say thank you for everything that you're doing. I'm sure that all the people whose lives you're touching are thanking you every day, but some of us are not able to fly a plane, and we're not able to run like beating hearts to get transplanted. But you are. So just, we thank you for that.
Right. We had one transplant patient was a baby, and we kept taking off from the airport to try to get that baby there every time that body part, I forget exactly what it was available. And we would get a call about halfway through the flight that somebody else got there first, because it is a race.
Oh, wow. It's a race. Oh, wow.
To get to the body part. So what we did was
to pick it up, or to take the child to it?
To take the child to the operation.
Wow.
So what happened is we did a poker run, and we took the money from the poker run, and Steve Perello, who is the CEO, bought a software that it goes out to 5 different pilots on that transplant mission. So each transplant mission, we assign 5 pilots.
Oh, wow.
So we do practice runs to meet the baby and meet the mother, or whatever, adult, whatever it is, at the airport. And that way, when that body part comes available, if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, all 5 pilots are going to get notified. Then when we take off, the first one there gets the patient.
Right.
But everybody that responds stays in communication with each other to let them know. And we've never missed another transplant.
Wow, that's beautiful.
We got turned around twice in the sky for the baby missing the body part.
Right.
And we just made a vow that we can never let this happen again.
So this is Kim Sunshine with the Kim Sunshine Show here at Cornerstone Center, and we're talking with Keith Evans, and he is just telling us all about Angel Flight. And if you ever have wondered, what does Angel Flight do? Well, we're hearing all the details today, and you can even take a look at a previous video that we did that was sharing a lot of other information about Angel Flight and everything that Keith is doing, and the entire organization. So how many members? Now, we are one branch here, and are you in charge of the local branch that is here?
I'm on the board of directors.
You're on the board of directors.
Right.
Okay.
Heather Rout I assigned her as the wing leader in this particular area.
So she's the wing woman?
She's the wing woman, yes. And I do that also, but more importantly, I'm on the board of directors, helping the organization to get recognized, grow. I do a lot of interviews. You know, I was on a couple of news programs.
And you're on this super duper show.
This is the best one yet.
The best one yet. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, so there's a board of directors. So how many people are involved in the organization in the Southeast here? So it's Angel Flights SE is for our local chapter that is here in this part of Florida?
Yes, we have about 800 pilots in this part of Florida, in the Florida region, that help here in Southeast. But total organization-wide is somewhere around 7,000.
7,000. Wow, it's a very big organization.
Right.
And now you've been with the organization for over 20 years. And so when did the organization start?
Wow, I forget the years. About 35 years ago. I don't know the exact time, but the story's on the website, angelflightse.org. And you can see some interviews that I've done in the past and others have done. We've been on a Today Show. We've been on a lot of different shows, and all of those programs would be on that website if they wanted to take a look
wow,
at
that's amazing.
it. Right.
That's
so,
fine.
And that Today Show video.
Wait, can we get our show on your website?
Yes, it will be.
Awesome. That'll be great.
We'll put it on there for
That's
sure.
great. That's great.
For sure. There's just too much to tell. I mean, there's.
Well, you know, what Angel Flight does is what a lot of people can't do or don't have the stomach to do, or even the heart or the mind to think that they want to do it. Because when bad things are happening, some people freeze up, you know, because they're not able to think when a bad situation comes, where you guys have to be on point in that. And it's not a high stress, but more of a high intensity situation, just to make sure that everything is exactly the way that it needs to be to keep the airplane in the air properly.
And you have to fly very gentle, you know, so it's not like you can make any sudden moves. You know, we descend at 500 feet a minute. Why? Because if we go faster and descend faster, the patient could get sick. And we already know that they are. So it takes a special person to be an Angel Flight pilot. You have to care. You can't be careless. And the bottom line is that you have somebody in the back that's very fragile. So, I mean, I'm very proud of all the pilots that are volunteering, and we get calls every day from pilots that are looking for flights. So we don't have a lack of flights. We have a lack of patients at the moment.
Wow.
Because most of them are waiting for body parts. We have a lot of transplant patients
on the transplant list. Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. I signed someone up yesterday, my roofer, 6% ejection fraction on his heart.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. 6%. Wow.
Yeah. So he's going now. He signed up. So when his heart does come in, he's actually being analyzed today and going through the procedure over at Shands Medical Center to find out the whatever you have to go through to get it. So we're saving a lot of lives.
So I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I grew up with UPMC and, you know, the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, which was the cutting edge of technology. I think that they had the very first artificial heart was created in my city. So are you guys doing a lot with the transplants up there in Pennsylvania or Pittsburgh, or is it that far?
That region probably is. I'm doing a lot with the University of Miami.
University of Miami,
now,
okay.
There's a lot of programs that the FDA sponsors that people don't know about.
Okay.
One of them is stem cells in the heart. Okay.
Yeah, you were just talking about with that when you came in here, and super excited about it.
Yeah, you know, people that have heart disease, if they fit the program, the FDA pays for it all. So they could go down there, and they gave us permission to invite people into the program on the ejection fraction, and they have come up with a formula that they're very successful with. They take bone marrow from a healthy individual. They spin the blood up from a healthy individual, and they take umbilical cords, and they mix it all together. And then they do a genetic background check to find out anybody in your family line that has passed away from heart disease.
Okay.
They go in through the groin, and they inject each one of those areas so that even if you don't have a problem with it, they're trying to strengthen those areas.
Oh, wow.
So you won't have any, but that's fully covered by the FDA.
Oh, wow.
And there's so many.
So who would be a good candidate for that? And how does somebody apply if they think they might be a candidate for that?
Somebody with an ejection fraction in their heart. A heart works 50% on one side, 50 on the other. So if the left side is not pumping the blood out at the same rate that the right side is pushing it in, your EF, that's called your ejection fraction, would actually be off. So anybody with a 30 or below, do not give up. Call me.
Okay, yep. Give a call to Keith Evans, and you can...
Yeah, our phone number, 386-931-1800. Whether you need a mortgage, whatever, or medical care, please call me.
Yeah, or if you're looking to make an investment into a multi-unit commercial building, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you want to buy that backhoe.
Yeah. Hey, we even donate a flight for a backhoe.
You did?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anytime I close a loan, I made a dedication to God that anytime I'm blessed with a closing, the company at all, we actually will donate to the flight and do another flight. I have a partner in St. Augustine who does quite a bit of volume where we're able to help a lot of people.
That's awesome. So one of the things that I'm impressed with is your faith in God. So tell me about that story. How did you come to know God?
Well, I was raised by a single mom, and she passed away in January.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And one of the hardest speeches I ever had to do was at her funeral. But it made me realize why I am like I am.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to church with her. She made me go every day. I had to go on Sundays. I had to go all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I always was wondering, how does a single mother raise 4 kids?
Right.
So during the speech, I never rehearse a speech. The Holy Spirit speaks through me, and I just talk. But one of the things that came out was that every time we were in church, we might not have had a lot of food. We grew up pretty poor.
Right.
And we might not have had gas for the car. But my mom always took her pocketbook and emptied it into the collection tray. And all of a sudden, we'd have gas.
Wow, right.
All of a sudden, we'd have food.
Wow.
And we never wanted for anything. And she put all of us through school, college, and everything.
Wow.
So, I mean, just looking at that level of faith that she instilled in me makes it to where I guess I am who I am today. You'll never see my name on any of these advertisings for any poker run or anything like that, because I don't do it for recognition.
Right.
I do it for God.
Exactly.
And my faith in God is very, very strong. And I listen, and I take the flights that I need to take, and you know, I knew it was time for me to step back and not fly as much because, hey, you know, eventually we do want to slow down. And I was donating so much money per year. Just owning the 2 aircraft, they were basically for Angel Flight.
Right.
And those were costing me anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 a month. You know, when I was running EQ Financial.
Okay.
So with the market crash in 2008, you know, I had to step back a lot. And I said, well, there's got to be something I can do.
Right.
And I can talk because I am kind of.
He's a talker.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, well, some people say full of shit, but whatever. I'm just playing. But anyway, I can talk for hours.
Right, right.
So I transitioned into that. I just did one down in West Palm last year. Interview on the news. Listen to this story. The lady lived in $1 million house. When you looked at it from the front, she owned an accounting business. 20 years ago, someone with a car full of drugs jumped the median doing 80 to 90 miles an hour and hit her head on.
Wow.
Thank God her house was paid for back then, but she lives in the same home today, but we have to take her for her to swallow to get a shot twice a month.
Wow.
So we fly her from West Palm to Gainesville to get a shot in her neck. Well, I went and did the TV interview down there because her son had stage 4 cancer. He was on the same plane.
Wow.
And then his wife had stage 4 cancer. She was on the same plane.
Wow.
So it was the whole family ended up being helped by Angel Flight.
Wow.
Well, when I went to her home, I asked if I could use the bathroom because, I mean, God, I had to go.
Right, right.
And she said no, which shocked me. And she said, I'll show you why. And she walked around the back of the house. Well, she doesn't have property taxes because she's disabled.
Right.
Her house was paid for.
Right.
And it's the only thing she has to hold on to because her husband had passed away and she has had a very, very hard life. And when I went into the back, it had blue tarps all over it. Half the roof was gone.
No.
So she goes, I only have one sink that works in the home. My bathroom's not working well. I said, ma'am, this is on the water here, right at the inlet. Why don't you sell it? She says, I can't.
Didn't know where to go.
She goes, no. She goes, this is my heart. I raised my family here. She goes, I can't get rid of it. There's just no way. So she was living in the house because of emotions and, you know, and I do understand that.
Right, right.
And, but she was living with one bathroom, one sink upstairs in a house that was just full of mold.
Right. Wow.
I immediately got on the phone and started trying to call organizations to come in and help. I don't know what has gone down since then. She did come and speak for me last year at one of the events, which she has a hard time with. I try to invite a different patient in all the time.
Right, right, because you guys are doing so much work for people and so much good.
Yeah.
Well,
Jeb's already called. He wants to come back.
He wants to come back. He loved Daytona, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the things that you said that kind of resonates a lot with me was the story about your mom and how she was a single mom with 4 children, yet she would tithe. And I would just want to touch on that a minute. So this is Kim Sunshine here at Cornerstone Center on the Kim Sunshine Show, and I'm with Keith Evans, and he is with Angel Flight. And what I asked him was his faith in God is so strong, and that is probably one of the driving factors for why he's such a giver. But he said that his mom would empty out her purse, even though they didn't have a whole lot growing up. So she would tithe to the church, even though she didn't have a whole lot, and then they would get. So it seemed like there wasn't any gas. She would tithe. Next thing you know, there would be gas. Well, I want to let you know that there is a scripture that goes with that, and it's in Micah, and it's I can't remember the exact verbiage, but I do know that it's in Micah. That's the book that it's in the Bible. That this is the only thing you can test God on, and that is your tithing. And what is a tithe? You're supposed to give 10%. There's also another place in the Bible where it says the one woman came and gave a penny, and it was all she had. She gave 100%, but it was just a small amount compared to what anyone else had. And she gave that one penny. And there was another rich man who came and flaunted in front of everybody and gave hundreds, and she gave one penny. And Jesus said that it was the woman who gave everything, even though it was a small amount, that gave more, because she had to sacrifice to give her penny, where the other one was not a sacrifice. Right. So may God continue to bless you, where all these flights and the money that you're spending is not a huge sacrifice for you, but a blessing to you and to the families that you do it for. But it's a beautiful philosophy.
Yeah, I live by it, and the bottom line is, have I made millions? Yes. Did I lose millions?
Yes. Been there, done that.
And I have found out that living to if you just take care of people, money takes care of itself.
Exactly.
I never want for anything. Do I have millions anymore? No.
Nope, don't
but
need
do
it.
I have what I need? Absolutely.
Exactly.
And if I want to go out and make a lot of money, I don't want to put that kind of stress on my body.
Exactly. I know how to do it, and I can, but I don't want to work that hard. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And the bottom line is that no matter what I need, it always appears. But anybody that works for me they'll tell you that I want them to do it for people and don't worry about money. An example, Brendan. Brendan was working for Disney, and I did a loan for him on his home, and I could hear it in his voice that he wanted to change. He wanted something different. And when Brendan answered, I asked him if he wanted a job. And when he answered me, I asked him how much he made a year. And I'm not going to repeat that online, but the bottom line, I said, you'll make that this year, and you only have 4 months left.
Right.
I said, if you do it for people.
If you do it for
But
people
if
with a heart.
Yeah, if you're coming in here to do it for money, you won't. One of the things I can't stand is a desperate salesperson, because they are, the scratchers and the clawers. They're going to scratch and claw to get ahead. Where if your heart is just to do the right thing, you're naturally going to move forward and get ahead, because your heart is for the customer, for the client. And that's what I'm looking to surround myself with, are the businesses who have that level of integrity. And that's where their heart is to serve and to do things the right way. Right.
Now, everybody has a need at the end of the day to have some jobs. So did he reach his goal?
Yes, he did. He exceeded it.
He reached it and exceeded his goal. How
In
fantastic
4
is
months.
that? That's awesome.
And he's a great loan officer, and I'm very proud of him. And he is just, he doesn't worry.
Awesome.
He knows, he has good faith, and he knows.
Well, I think every loan officer needs to have a relationship with God. I know that Steve Arrier is one of the loan officers that
Steve.
I refer all the time. Well, he's like a pit bull. I mean, I've not, and I'm sure maybe you do it too, but I've not seen many that will go toe to toe with the underwriters like he does. So
I'm pretty fortunate because the underwriter works for me.
well, oh yeah, because you have a different setup for yours. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting to see that. But he also has a strong faith. But the stress that you guys have to deal with in the mortgage industry, and the pressure that comes from all angles, it is not a job that I would want. Not one bit.
Steve, I tell you, he will fight. I refer business to him all the time because I know what he has inside of him.
Yes.
And he will not give up.
Yes.
He fights, and I've seen him pull off amazing things because he is. And I've seen a lot of underwriters yell at him, and he stays right in there with them.
Yeah.
He stays right in there with them.
He does.
And he does get it closed because he knows one thing, that don't open your mouth unless you have the right information to prove you are right.
Exactly.
And he does all of the investigating. He gets it all written down. He can quote everything to the underwriter, everything they're doing wrong.
Yep.
And he wins.
Yeah, he's been doing it a long time. So he's one of the guys that I always refer, and I've used you. There's only a handful of lenders that I used when I was working with real estate. Now, sometimes a buyer would come with their own lender, and then you see these people that are just like, oh my gosh, you didn't. Can I introduce you to some people to get some good training?
Yeah, there you go. And life happens to people too. I'll tell you what kind of scares me a little bit is that we're building all these new homes, and when you buy a new home, you have to use the tax assessed value off of the website. Okay. So I had one that was buying, well, I talked to her yesterday, $660,000 home, her taxes are $11,000 a year. But then I looked in the newspaper and I saw they were proposing raising the taxes 15%.
Wow.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's
on
going to
new
hurt a lot of
purchases.
purchases.
Now, somebody selling their house, already existing taxes, we get to use that. But on a new build, we have to go from the ground up on taxes. So I hope that everybody stands together and we can try to
have that tax increase. Well, we're seeing increases going on all over the place, and yeah, just praying for a big abundance to come to everybody. And if anybody is thinking about starting a business or getting into business, that's what we do here at Cornerstone Center. So we can help you from the ground up. And I always like to surround myself with amazing people like Keith Evans and other people who are experienced in business to help people who are aspiring to be business owners to be the best business owners that they can be. So, Keith, if you were going to give a tip to somebody, first of all, how long have you worked for yourself?
30 years.
30 years.
I've been in the mortgage business for 30 years. I started my own company 6 months after I got into the mortgage industry because I knew that that's what I was supposed to be doing.
Awesome.
And it was called EQ Financial. And Steve worked there too. And he was a pit bull then also. Yeah, I ran that business until about 2009. And then I was lending my own money, not my personal money, but we were lending money off of a line of credit. And I wanted to take a break, so I went to Europe because I wanted to know what happened to the debt that we were selling to different organizations.
Okay.
So when I went there, I worked behind the desk of a trader at Deutsche Bank, and he basically taught me what they would do in the morning. They would buy like debt that was getting ready to mature.
Oh.
At like, let's say they'd buy it at 27 or 25 cents on the dollar. Well, the bank already made all their money back on the payments.
Right.
And the way it works is that in the U.S., you can lend out 10 times your deposits. In Europe, you can lend out 12 times your deposits. So what they're trying to do is recoup their coffers. They don't do stocks and bonds. They trade debt.
Oh, wow.
$1 billion worth of debt in the morning, a bank might sell out with a bunch of other banks at 40 cents on the dollar. Again, they made their money. And then it'll sell in the afternoon, maybe to a pension fund, a municipality. A natural disaster is allowed to go into the trading programs. And they would sell that particular debt in the afternoon. And it was an invitation-only type situation to be able to buy it. And they would hang on to it and make the interest for the next couple years. You know, so I wanted to know that part of the business. I wanted to be so well-rounded. So when I came back to the United States after spending a long time in Europe, I would know the mortgage industry in and out. So when it was slow, I took off to learn everything I could about it.
That's amazing.
Then when I came back, I did some consulting work for a little while and basically decided that I have to get back into helping people. So I'm doing a lot of regular mortgages, a lot of commercial loans, and I try to follow the market to where the market's going and wherever there's a need.
Right.
You know, right now, there is a need for down payment help. The Heroes program is just one.
Okay.
We have several. There's an Indian tribe called the Chinoa tribe that will also give you the same amount of money as the Heroes program.
But do you have to be an Indian, a Chinola?
No, you don't. You
So
just
an
have to be
Indian program that's reaching out is open to anybody.
Correct.
Well,
So
I love it.
If you call in the Heroes program and you're not a professionally licensed person, it's not over
Okay.
because we have another replacement program for that. Now, we're also coming out with our own particular version where we give 2%. That's forgivable that you never have to pay back.
Oh, wow.
The other programs are at 0% interest, and when you sell your home, there's a lien there to be
Then
paid.
they get it back.
Right.
Wow.
Because the SHIP program is constantly out of money, and there's a
I
good
know the
reason
SHIP
for it.
program, the money goes fast.
Well, they're helping the elderly.
Right.
You know, you need a roof. Most people are going to have their homeowner's insurance canceled, and the roof is still good.
Right.
And SHIP is there to help.
Right.
You know, they used to be there just for the down payment assistance, but they can't anymore.
Right.
You know, people on a fixed income, they're in trouble if their insurance is going to be canceled.
Yep.
My neighbor's
Yep.
92 years old and just had to put a roof on her
It's
house.
unbelievable what's going on with the insurance and the roofs and the whole. That's a whole nother discussion for another day. Keith.
Right. Yeah, it is. But that's what SHIP is there for, and people need to know that.
So we have been talking for over an hour.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there anything else that you wanted to wrap up with today to let everybody know?
I love everybody. If you need my help, please give me a call. I am there, 386-931-1800. If you just need advice on finances, you can call me for that. Or if you have someone that's in medical need, please call me. I also just set up a program down in Costa Rica with a gentleman down there that saved Mel Gibson's father's life. His name is Dr. Messin. Dr. Messin is now going to be doing free stem cell for babies that are in need, because I watched too many mothers give up hope. And so I was able to get that organized. That took me about 6 months to do. JetBlue donates the tickets to fly him down there, and then Dr. Messin donates the service to get it done.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, if there's a need, I want to try to help and fill it.
What an honor and a privilege to have you here at Cornerstone Center. And I look forward to us doing another interview. And today was just our introductory interview. So next time, maybe we'll just pick one topic and dig in real deep on that. And,
Sounds good.
And see how that goes. But thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you watching. And everybody have a fantastic and a blessed week.
God bless.